Paul Marsh, and I am joined by legendary DJ Brandon Block and Charlie Orton, who is the Chief Exec of UK Smart Recovery. Thank you both for joining me.
Thank you for having us. It's a real pleasure.
So, Brandon, in the 90s, as much as you were known for being one of the best DJs in the world, you were also known for your party lifestyle. So for those who don't know, tell us what changed.
Well, basically, look, the party lifestyle got the better of me without going into too much detail. And in '96, I was given, an ultimatum about choosing between, as they say, choose life, which I decided to do. And on the strength of one really powerful decision while sitting in a hospital one morning, I ended up going into a detox facility in 1996, spending 3 weeks, coming out, never relapsing or going back to my old behaviors. But it was a moment of real intense decision making. I never left. Listen, I went back DJing. I went straight back to Ibiza. I went, straight carried on in my job, let's say, my career. I loved my music. I always have, but I just did it without substances. So yeah, that's what happened. It was a make or break, really, and that's where I'm here today. Thank God, by the grace of God.
And how did that feel? Like you say, on the top of your game, DJing to thousands of people every single night and thinking, this has got to change. My lifestyle has got to change if I want to keep doing what I love doing.
Well, I mean, I was so ill. I was unwell physically as well as mentally. So my body was giving up on me. So it wasn't just about being able to think about how I felt about that. I was feeling horrible the whole way through, from top to bottom, inside and out, so it was what do I do here? And I at that time in '96, it wasn't as available. Information wasn't readily available because it was it was massively stigmatized then, not in comparison to now. It was like unheard of. So to try and reach out and find places to go or people to help, it was difficult. So you do have to do some research and get people, friends, to help you to try and do that, which I did. I'm very grateful that I found the man who I did, and his name's William Shanahan, Dr. William Shanahan. He's a consultant psychiatrist for the Priory now. He's also my mentor and also my savior. So yeah, very fortunate that was around for me then, because who knows, it could have ended up a completely different way. But as I said, I'm here now and down the road with the help of Smart Recovery. Really, I found it an incredible tool to help with this stuff,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you are encouraging people to walk. Now, let's get this right. You're encouraging people to walk 24,901 miles, which is the distance, the circumference of the world, to stamp out addiction-related stigma and to bring together the recovery community. That sounds like a lot of steps in one day. So how can we?
You either have to, what's the word I'm looking for? Upgrade your Apple Watch. So
yeah.
or you can talk to Charlie, the chief exec of Smart Recovery. He can tell you about Unite for Recovery.
Yeah, sure. Okay, a little bit about Unite for Recovery. It's a virtual challenge, and we're asking people to unite with the recovery community and go on a journey with us virtually around the world. So the kind of vision of it is that UK Smart Recovery, together with Australia and America, so we have Smart in Australia and America as well, collectively together we've got this virtual goal of clocking up this 24,901 miles. It's to raise awareness, it's to raise funding for the charity, and it's also to smash out stigma, because one really powerful statistic we've come across is that there's 100 million people who are affected by someone else's addiction or problematic behavior in the world. So this is about the whole of the recovery community and everyone that's affected by it. It could be business owners, people who go to work, or etc. So it's all around us all the time. Addiction, that's what people don't quite realize. 1 in 10 people will develop a substance misuse disorder, and for 1 in 4 of those, it will become severe and require some form of treatment. Many children and young people are now getting addicted to gaming and gamification, and that's definitely an emerging problem as well. So the whole aim of Smart Recovery as a charity is to create a recovery community where people help people. We also provide a 4-point recovery program, which is based on cognitive behavioral therapy. And one of our ways of bringing together that global community every year is we run a global awareness campaign. And this year it's Unite for Recovery.
Yeah. I mean, so when you talk about, I mean, you've just mentioned about addiction, and obviously people think about drink and drugs. And as you've mentioned, a lot of youngsters are getting addicted to gambling and video games, amongst other things. What are some of the telltale signs that somebody has an addiction to something?
I mean, look, Paul, we're humans, right? We're creatures of habit. We like things that change fundamentally the way we feel, right? Because generally we resonate at a slightly stressful place, right, during the day, because we'll read the news, we'll watch media, they'll have that little, subtle underlying stressful, reaction to this stuff, because we live in fear. We're always looking out instinctually because of our old behaviors, cavemen. We're looking out what's going to hurt us, not what's going to be good for us, right?
Yeah.
So I think the thing about it is it's the trouble is with, like, say, for social media, it's in your hand. It's easy, right? And you get notifications, you get likes, you get dislikes. I mean, obviously Instagram took the likes off because obviously people are getting really affected by, why do people not like me? And it's all that whole taking things personally, and which we do, and we're distracted really easily. So to create, and I think addictions are created now. They're not just born. People will get addicted to stuff that makes them feel different, right? So if it's that young person playing a video game, they escape. That's their escapism. A lot of it is my life, necessarily, not generalizing, but my life generally is stressful. I compare myself on my phone all day long. I'm expected to be able to achieve these unreasonable targets, or be in a certain way as a person. How do I do that? And I can't manage that. I'm just, how do I manage my own mental health, let's say, self-esteem? And I'll do it by escaping into a video game, into a social media, hole, into gambling. So it's sort of vicious cycle. But what we're trying to do at Smart is to just give out the information, let people know that they can use certain tools to become aware. And change will happen when people get ready for doing that, right? But it's having those tools already there, and knowing that there's available organizations to be able to help you with that free. Just reach out and do it. So there's, I suppose, there's so many telltale signs. Isolation, isolating, behaving differently in a quick space of time. So if parents are watching children grow up and all of a sudden they become sort of anti, more belligerent, let's say, there's so many telltale signs. It's just having that awareness and knowing, say, for instance, they're spending too long on the phone, they're spending too long on that video game, they're maybe drinking with some friends, who knows? But there are many, and it's being constantly on guard and looking out for that, because once you start a journey of changing those behaviors, you'll always be on that journey. It'll never change. You'll never go back to not knowing, if you get what I mean. So you can't learn that thing. Once you know you have problems with your behavior, you're always it's when you let go of that battle and saying, you know what, I give in. I'm not going to win this. I'll just let that happen, and then I can deal with the stuff that comes afterwards.
Yeah.
And
I think an addiction will manifest itself in a very subtle way as well. So something that can start off being quite good for you or quite healthy for you, like going to work, like exercising. If you then become reliant on that and you do it too much, that's your brain learning that that's what makes you feel better, and it's going to want more and more and more of it. And that sensation becomes stronger and stronger each time. So I guess it's really good for everybody to just take a step back every now and again and just reflect on the balance of your life. Is my life in balance? Am I dedicating too much time, energy, money, emotion to one particular area? And what can I do to kind of spread those efforts across different things? If you take something away from somebody and there's a strong emotional response or a traumatic response, if you ask a young person to stop gaming, for example, if they become angry, distressed, upset, and crying, that's a strong reaction to taking something away. And you might just want to stop and think for a minute, why is that reaction happening? And why aren't we able to stop or not do certain things? There are other indications that are more obvious, like your financial status might be declining due to what you're doing. For example, your health, as Brandon said earlier, your physical health. You might find yourself maybe lying or skewing the truth. to certain people or members of your family a little bit. You might be hiding or secreting certain things around. So I think some of the signs can be quite subtle, and it's just about being observant, not stigmatizing people for it, and actually opening up conversations by just saying to someone, I've noticed you seemed a bit stressed recently, or I noticed you weren't quite on form in that meeting the way you usually are. You know, are you okay? And so what SMART does as well is it helps people just open up the conversation and surface the conversation in a way that's not confrontational, because we look at it as a set of behaviors that people have learned to de-stress from life. We don't see addiction as a disease that you're helpless to overcome. You know, the power is within you to change that. So the first step is just to start noticing your own behaviors and the behaviors in other people, I would say.
Yeah. Guys, this is a conversation that I could probably go on for hours, unfortunately, that we don't have. So thank you very much for talking to me. You mentioned an app earlier. If people want to find out a little bit more about UK Smart Recovery, where can they do that?
Okay, so if you search Smart Recovery UK or Unite for Recovery UK, a Google search, you'll find us, and all the information is on those two platforms.
Guys, thank you so much. All the best for the rest of the day, and I wish you all the luck in the world.
Thanks
Great,
ever
Paul.
so much.
Thank you very much,
Paul.
mate. Have a great
All the
day.
best. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.